Welcome back to the panel. Okay, Mrs. Nance, I bet you think the federal deficit is $1.3 trillion. No, you read CBO reports. You know it's actually $5 trillion. And you know the difference exists because the federal government doesn't count retirement liability,
That's right,
which is a real liability. Let me ask you this. If the federal government were a privately held company, if it were Enron, its leaders would be in jail, would they not?
HealthSouth or WorldCom, any of the others, DOJ would be knocking on the door. It is time that we stop lying to ourselves, and it's not just Democrats. It's Democrats and Republicans have been doing this for a long time.
That's true.
We've not been honest about what the federal government really owes, and we can't fix it unless we're truthful. So let's stop playing games. Let's be honest about what our balance sheet looks like as a country. And CBO's report you mentioned came out yesterday, said if we don't do something about our deficit immediately, very quickly, not only are we not going to recover, we're going to go into a free fall. We can't pay the interest on the debt. You know, we could, for just the interest on the debt alone, we could hire 37 million teachers every year, Tucker.
That's an awful lot of teachers in a country of 315 million people. But every household, $561,000 in debt.
Well, I'd respect the White House a lot more if the White House said, yeah, we're really spending it more than twice the level that President Bush did. We're doing what he did in 2 terms, and it's worth it. And we'd do it again. And if we had an opportunity, we'd double down in the next administration. I mean, they won't say that, though. They'll say, no, it doesn't, that's not really the number, and don't worry about that. No one has to pay for this in the future. It's just a number. And it's not.
That would be a bold statement of the truth. But shouldn't now, Reverend, you are moving in your seat. I can tell you're getting agitated here. Shouldn't we hold? And Mrs. Nance is absolutely right. It's not just Democrats, it's Republicans too. Shouldn't we hold people who lie about the size of the deficit responsible for that lie?
The finger pointing won't get us out of where we are. The key to a resolution is recognizing that we all contributed to the problem, and that the problem can kill us as a country. And so the deficit is. Well,
shouldn't we define the problem accurately before we address it?
Well, I'm saying we can. The numbers are in agreement. Either set of numbers could be fatal to a healthy economy.
But what do you mean we? I've never lied about the size of the deficit. I'm not pretending that retirement liabilities don't count.
We are the American people and our representatives in Washington. They are Democrats and Republicans are all playing this shadow game. We've got to shine the light of day on this issue and confront it. The issue won't be the numbers. The issue will be how do you deal with it? Austerity or whether you're going to tax your way out.
We can agree it begins with the president shining the light and then saying, get out of the dark. We have to stop.
When the super committee
hasn't done it.
When the super committee, when the Congress said that they wanted to deal with this issue, and the president said that he was in agreement with that, and they created the super committee, they ended up punting.
Come on, if you were serious in the first place, you wouldn't have a stupid super committee. What's a super committee? We have a Congress full of committees. It was designed to solve problems precisely like this one. If you're creating a so-called super committee, you're admitting that you're powerless against the reality.
Candidates have to stop promising the American public whatever they want in order to get elected. It is wrong. We are stealing from the next generation. We're stealing from our kids and your kids. There's a moral component, and we've got to stop.
And it goes back to leadership and bridging differences. Yeah. It's not good enough to say, oh, they wouldn't let me do it. They tortured me on this. I couldn't get it done. This president was elected to get it done and bridge those differences that existed. And he failed.
I agree. Now, I'm sorry, I've got to ask you this because it's been troubling me all week. Derek Saunders of Denver police clocked 143 miles an hour.
The reason I'm laughing is because you don't let me respond to that.
Because this is too important. This cop you see on the screen, 143 miles an hour, he was arrested driving drunk. This guy was accused of brandishing his firearm at a McDonald's.
He was accused and acquitted.
Right. He was fired, reinstated by the Civil Service Commission because of pressure from unions. Isn't this Exhibit A for why public sector employees' unions are bad for the public interest?
To take the most extreme example, public unions are not bad for the public interest, A. There are extreme violations because on the other side of the equation, there are cases where management has violated employees' basic rights.
Doesn't it violate my right as someone?
That's why you have a National Labor Relations Board, because there are many instances where management and ownership have violated.
Well, let's just take this one instance and declare unequivocally as a group, this is appalling.
Appalling.
All right. Thank you. I love it. Amen. Coming up.